Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a tutorial on the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe Volume 2 palette. I just got this in the mail, I want to say a little bit over a month ago, and I just posted a video on the review of this palette, and I also did a small tutorial using the reds in this palette, so if you want to see that video, go ahead and check that out. I will leave it linked down below. But, like I said in that video, I really wanted to try out these purple shadows, and so I'm going to try and do I think I'm going to do a halo look using the pinks and purples, and I just really want to see how they perform, because if you didn't know, purple eyeshadows are one of the hardest shadows to formulate. I don't really know why that is. It probably has something to do with the ingredients in the shadow itself, but I don't really know for sure why it is the hardest eyeshadow to make and work with. Usually they end up being patchy or they just don't blend out that well. So we are going to see if that is the case with this palette today. With that being said, let's just get right into today's video. All right, so I've zoomed you in a little bit more just so you can kind of see what I'm doing a bit better. So the first shade I'm going in with is Therapy Sesh, which is this interesting, it's like a purple and pink. I don't really know how to describe it. It's not exactly purple, but it's also it's not pink. It's like right in the middle. I don't really know how to describe it, but I'm going to go in with an M. This is a 573 brush. It's like a fluffy dome brush, and I'm going to pick some of that up. This is going to be kind of like the base / transition layer, I guess, if you will. I have already done my face makeup. I've already set my eyes. I put on concealer, and then I set them with powder. And actually, before I even put on my eyeshadow, I'm going to go in with some face powder and a fluffy brush and just put it underneath my eyes. Last time I did this, I had face powder all in my hair and I didn't know. And it looked really bad. It looked like dandruff. It was gross. So, we're going to try and avoid that today. But I just feel like last time I used this palette with the reds, I did get a little bit of fallout and kick up on one of the shades. I don't remember which one. I think it was actually Crazy, perhaps. So just in case, I don't want to risk it. So I'm just going to put down face powder, and that way I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to take this color and I'm going to put it on the outer corner of the eye. And I'm also going to pat this on the inner corner of the eye. I don't know if you guys know what a halo is. Basically, the outer corners are usually the darkest color, and then the middle of the eyelid is a different color. It's usually lighter. Obviously, people break the rules all the time. You don't necessarily have to do it that way, but that's what we're going to do today. And I think what I'm going to do is make the outside corners like those darker purples, and then do the inner center of the lid. I'm going to do that the pinks, I think. And I'm going to take this color, and we're just going to kind of put it on the inner and outer corner, and then bring it up into the, I don't want to say the crease, but like kind of like the upper brow bone. It's kind of hard with my eyes because I have hooded eyes, so I usually take colors up a little bit higher, especially because my eyebrows are pretty high up on my face too, so I have a lot of space here to work with, but I don't have a lot of lid space, if that makes sense. So I try and bring everything up a little bit higher, so that way you'll be able to see those pinks in the center of the lid. I also would recommend at this point in time, when you're laying down the eyeshadow, to leave the middle of your lid as open as you possibly can, because it makes it easier in the end to go back in with those lighter shades and place them on the center of the lid. This shade's actually really easy to blend. I don't know if it's because it's more of like a mix between pink and purple rather than straight purple, but I'm not having any problems with blending it. I'm not having any problems with any sort of patchiness. Knock on wood, but so far it's a really nice shade and I don't have any issues with it, really. I'm gonna go in with a Morphe. This is an M433 brush right here. I'm gonna go in with this. It's a little bit smaller. I'm gonna go back in with Therapy Sesh and just really pack it in the inner and outer corner of the eyes. So I'm gonna go in with Not My Journey, which is this darker purple right here. And this is one of the shades that I'm kind of worried about using. I feel like this, out of all the shades in this palette, this is going to be the one that ends up being patchy, if there's any patchy shadows. I'm going to pick up some of that and tap off the excess. Again, there is some kick up in the pan with this shade too. I'm going to take this and we're going to start to also blend this on the inner and outer corner of the eye. Okay, I'm going in with this is the M573 brush, and I don't have any shadow on this. I'm just gonna go ahead and blend out that darker purple. And I'm not really blending it out. I'm just kind of blending right along the edges so it blends in seamlessly with Therapy Sesh. One thing I'm noticing, and this is something that I notice with a lot of shades in any palette really, is that, especially colored shadows, not so much neutrals but colors, when you place the color down, it's really dark or really vibrant depending on what color you're using. But then when you go and blend it out, it becomes almost pastel, or it just loses that pigmentation. And when I originally did the tutorial with the review of this palette, I didn't have that problem with the red shades, but I am noticing blending out Not My Journey. Don't get me wrong, it's blending out really nicely. It's not patchy, and to be honest, I would take that any day over pigmentation and then have it be patchy, but it is losing a lot of that pigment. I packed on quite a good amount of that shade, and you can see that it's really become more of a pastel purple, which again isn't the biggest deal. You can always go in with another palette and put on a darker purple, or you could always go in with Temptress in this palette, which is the black, but I'm really trying to avoid that. So I'm gonna take more of Not My Journey on the same, this is the E36 brush, and I'm gonna pack more of this on, and I'm just gonna continue to do this to see if I can get this to come out any darker. Now that I have this third layer down of Not My Journey, what I'm gonna do is take my M573 brush and I'm gonna blend right on the outside here. I'm not going like right where I placed the purple originally, just the outside to blend it in with Therapy Sesh, because I think that might help with the loss of pigmentation when I go and blend it. I really only need it to blend into Therapy Sesh anyways, and then obviously whatever color we put on in the middle. Okay, so I am noticing that there is a tiny bit of fallout with Not My Journey. Really minimal. It's actually only on this eye, like right here. This is a Morphe brush. It's just a flat shader brush. I'm gonna wipe off the excess shadow that I have on it from a prior look that I did. And I'm gonna go in first with Therapy Sesh, and I'm really going to blend this along the bottom portion of the lid, but I'm only gonna do the outer and inner corner like we did with the lid portion of the eye, because I want to mimic the halo look on the lower portion of the lash as well. I'm also gonna go in with Not My Journey on the same brush, only a little bit on the tip of this brush, and I'm going to blend, again, inner and outer corner, but I'm gonna try and stay as close to the lash line as I possibly can. And I'm not gonna blend it down as far as we did with Therapy Sesh. I was originally going to take some of Lolly Mama, which is this shade right here, and then also going with Tipsy Girl, and that was gonna be like the middlemost shade of the eye. But I think I'm actually gonna skip Lolly Mama and go straight into Tipsy Girl and just have that be the middle, because I'm noticing now that I'm looking at this, I feel like Lolly Mama is just not the right, it's not the shade that I'm looking for, and I feel like it'll mess up the look if I put that as like a bordering shade, if that makes sense, between the most middle shade and then the outer shades. So I'm gonna go straight in with Tipsy Girl, and I'm gonna go in with the E36 brush that we used to put on the dark purple on the outer corners of the eyes. I'm just gonna wipe off the excess and pick up some of Tipsy Girl and tap off the excess. Again, there is a little bit of kick up in this pan, not as much as with Not My Journey and Therapy Sesh. And I'm gonna place this on the middle of the eyelid, bringing the shade up into the crease and blending it up a little further into like the brow bone. It's not really showing up there because we have the dark purple down there, which is fine. I just want to blend it so it doesn't look like two different shades, if that makes sense. I want it to have a nice gradient. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing to the other eye. Don't worry about blending at this point, we'll do that after. Going in with that Morphe flat shader brush again, picking up more of Tipsy Girl, and like I said, I want to mimic the halo look on the lower lash line as well, so I'm just gonna put this right on the middle of the lid. All right, now at this stage, I'm gonna go back in with the Morphe 573 brush, and I'm just gonna blend the two shades together so they blend seamlessly. You know what, one thing I think this palette is also missing, and I didn't mention it in my review video, is it's missing like a shimmery light pink to go with the rest of these. There is a dark purple right here. That's a shimmer. And there's also like a dark purpley pink right here, but it's really lacking like a lighter pink. That would have been really pretty to put in the inner corner of the eye, but since this palette doesn't have that and this tutorial is on this palette, I'm gonna go in with the shade I'm in it, which is like a holographic white with almost like pink flecks in it. And I'm gonna take that shader brush again and pick up some of that, and that's what we're gonna put on the inner corner of the eye. Okay, so that's it for shadows. I'm gonna go ahead and curl my lashes, and for mascara today, I'm gonna go in with the Ronde Drama Intense Thickening Mascara with castor oil. I got this in BoxyCharm. It really doesn't matter what you use for mascara because we're going in with lashes afterwards. I'm also at this point gonna go in with a black, this is a black pencil liner. You can use any color really. You could go in with like a really pretty pink or purple instead, but I'm gonna take this and line the upper lash line with black, just on like the waterline of the upper lash line, so that way it makes my lashes look a little bit thicker and it will help blend the fake lashes with my natural lashes. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm also going to apply the Lashaholic Luxury Lashes. This is an Instaglam. These are one of my all-time favorite lashes. I really love these. I use them a lot in looks that I do. So I'm going to also apply those, and I will be right back. All right, you guys, so this is the finished look. So my thoughts on the purple and pink shades in this Jaclyn Hill and Morphe Volume 2 palette. I think that they are really good. I think that they blend out pretty flawlessly. I didn't have any patchiness or harsh lines. It was really easy for me to blend them out and build them up. The only complaint I really have in this palette is this dark purple shade. I really wanted it to be a lot more pigmented than it was on the lid. Again, it is a buildable shade. I was able to build it up a lot and get somewhat of a nice dark purple. But, you know, for me anyways, I like to be able to just pick up a shade and throw it on and have it be the same exact shade that is in the pan. It doesn't always happen that way, but that's really my only complaint. Oh, other than the fact that there's also a little bit of fallout too. So if you're someone who can't stand fallout and you won't purchase the palette if there's a fallout, that is something to note that I have noticed, not on all of the shades, but a few of them that I've used so far in the reds and purples, there is some fallout. Not really a big deal. It swept away really easy with powder. It's not like you're getting a detrimental amount of fallout. It's a little bit. The other thing that I noticed too is that there's kick up in the pan as well, which if you have fallout, you're more than likely going to have to kick up in the pan as well. It's just, it is what it is. But other than that, I think that the purples and the red shades in this palette are really nice. They blend out really well. So if you're only looking to buy this palette because of those shades, I would recommend it. I do think that all of these shades pair really nicely with each other. I think that I could have totally put like a yellow in the center rather than the pink. But like I said, I also wanted to experiment with these 4 yellow shades here and then the oranges. So I kind of wanted to separate them each into like their own tutorial so I could play around with each of those colors. I didn't want to like mix them all into one video, if that makes sense. Overall, I really like this look that I came up with. It's been a hot second since I've done a halo eye, and I really enjoy the outcome with these purples and pinks. The other thing that I'm not sure about either, and I don't think I've mentioned this yet, pinks and purples often will stain your eyelid. Again, I don't know. I didn't have that issue with the reds like I thought I was going to. I thought they were going to stain my eyelid, but I'm hoping that I won't have that issue. The review video that I did, I used an actual primer. I used Urban Decay's potion primer. I didn't use any primer this time. I used concealer and powder, so I'm hoping that I still get the same outcome and that there is no staining on my eyelids. Anyways, with all of that being said, I would recommend the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe Volume 2 palette. It's just as good as her original, I think, in my own opinion. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter, because I do post a lot of additional content on there that isn't always here on YouTube. You kind of get like behind the scenes sort of deals. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. I'm gonna go ahead and place this on the inner corner, the lower lash line, but again, I want to mimic the halo a lot. Now, my last video that came out,
One more time, I want it one more time. I really need to make it right. Energy,